We live in a world today that's got us so focused on everybody else that we're comparing our life to everybody else's life. And really what's taking place is that so many of us, we struggle with this thing called FOMO, fear of missing out. The only way that you actually step into happiness and joy is when you put the focus on where you are at and get engaged with the thing that you're doing. I have learned over and over again that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react. That life is going to happen and you're gonna set up a plan and you're gonna have a vision and you're gonna hope that it's gonna turn out perfect. But what so often happens in life is that things get burned and things go the wrong way. And it's in that moment that you're gonna have to choose your reaction. Are you just gonna look at the surface of the problem, or are you gonna get deeper into the problem and discover even in the problem, there could be a purpose to your pain and somehow God could use this thing. And you gotta discover that even in that pain, that there could be purpose found in that thing, because in all circumstances, in all situations, you can learn to react with joy. Choose joy. Your problem, it might not make any sense, and your pain might not make any sense, and your circumstance might be illogical, and your challenge might be too great for man. But we serve a God who promises you peace that transcends all understanding, peace that doesn't make any sense, illogical peace, peace that doesn't make sense in the head. I don't know what you're walking through, but some of you right now, you are in a tough season. An event has happened, and something's happened, and maybe you have failed. But I want to remind you that failure is not final, it's formative. It is not final, it is formative. It is part of the process. It's part of the journey. Your failure matters as much as your success. How do you think you're gonna grow if you don't ever fail? Yet some of you have failed and you have decided, well, guess what? I'm a failure. No, failure is an event. It is never a person. Just because you failed doesn't mean that you're a failure. In fact, failure is actually fuel for your future. The way that you grow, the way that you advance, you have to fail in order to succeed. I wish I could get a witness at 12:15 who knew that they've gone through some failures, and just because you failed doesn't mean it's final, it's formative. Failure's part of the story. It's shaping you. It's part of the story. In fact, think about this. If those s'mores would not have burned, we wouldn't even be talking about them. The story would have been great s'mores and move on. It's the fact that we failed, it's the fact that we got burned, that we even had an opportunity to pivot and to react the right way to even tell a story. And you need to hear it today, that it's forming your future. It's pushing you forward. Yet if you're not careful, when you fail, you have a choice to make. Do you have the right reaction or do you have the wrong reaction? You need to change your mind, because some of you are thinking about giving up because you're in a season of failure. But just because you failed doesn't mean that God doesn't have a bright future in store for you. It is always too soon to quit. Like every one of my successes is stacked on top of failure. You need to get a revelation today that the joy is not in the success, the joy is in trying. The joy is in the process, that I'm gonna keep working, I'm gonna keep going at it. See, failure is forming my future. Failure's framing up the story that God's gonna tell. Failure is just another peg in the ladder for me to go higher. Failure for me is a research project. I don't wanna just know how to make it work. I wanna know why it doesn't work. And the only way I can find that out is I gotta fall on my face. But guess what? The righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up.
Many of us, we find ourselves in the same place in life. We come up with all these reasons and all these storylines and all these different narratives and all these excuses as to why we're not walking out our God-given purpose. We come up and we say things like, I'm too old to be used by God. I'm too young to step into this thing. And I don't have the right education. And I don't have nearly enough time. And you can keep saying that stuff. But if I can be honest with you for a moment, and if you can allow me to pastor you, all it is a cover-up excuse. The real thing is that you lack confidence to get up and play. So we sat there and I was watching these guys throw the baseball. Everyone's like, it's a boy. I was like, I don't care. I want to play baseball. And finally, after sitting there watching them long enough, I said, I'm sick and tired of sitting here watching them play. And it's important that you note this moment because in your life, there has to be these moments that you get sick and tired of watching other people walk out and fulfill their dreams while you sit on the sidelines and watch. I thought to myself, if they can do it, why can't I do it? Some of you need to realize tonight that if other people can step out into their potential, you can too. So I got up. I said, give me my glove. Grabbed the glove, caught the ball, I started throwing the ball. Caught the ball, I started throwing the ball. Caught the ball, I started throwing the ball. I said, yo, I'm pretty good at this. What was wild is the more I caught and the more I throw, confidence began to grow. In fact, as I actually started catching and throwing, would you believe I actually caught confidence? See, the way you catch your confidence is by action. You're never gonna get confidence just talking about it. Confidence comes when you start doing something about it. It's not about thinking, it's about throwing. You'll never know until you go. This is the problem with so many millennials when it comes to the faith journey, because you keep thinking faith is a feeling, and so you're waiting on a feeling to come. You're waiting for confidence to overwhelm you. You're looking for boldness, but it doesn't work that way. Faith is a decision. Faith is an action. You step out in faith, and as you step out onto the waters, God turns the liquid into solid, and before you know it, confidence comes as you take a step of faith. Action creates confidence. It's not gonna come watching. It only builds and develops as you step out. You're looking for a practical handle of how to get your confidence back. The most basic thing when it comes to confidence is confidence comes from repetition. The more I catch it and the more I throw it, the more I catch it and the more I throw it, the repeating of the behavior creates confidence in my life. I mean, ultimately, you are what you repeat. So, what are you repeating? Because my life is a result of my repetition. The more I do something, the more I become confident at it. Now, I think a good disclaimer as we're talking tonight is that confidence doesn't trump skill. Like, that's good to know, right? Like, I don't want just a confident doctor. He's getting ready to open you up, and you're like, yo, what's going on? He's like, I'm confident. Where'd you graduate from? I didn't, but I'm confident. Not gonna work, not gonna work. Confidence, it doesn't trump skill, but I do believe that confidence is just as valuable as skill. Tonight, I don't know where you're at on this journey, and I don't know what life looks like for you right now, but I know this: if you're ever gonna be who God's called you to be, it's gonna require confidence. And if you've lost it, you gotta find it. And if you've misplaced it, you gotta get it back.